Hey y'all, it's your girl Symone and welcome back to my channel. If y'all can see by the title, today's another Subbie Sunday. Before we get into this video, y'all already know what to do. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, give a girl a thumbs up, comment down below. Don't forget to follow me on all my socials. Instagram at Vivalayoshii, TikTok and Twitter at Lifewithsymone. And follow my business pages at Brishari and my hair pages at Syleire because y'all see the bundles. Yeah. Alright, let's get straight into this Subbie Sunday. Let's make it quick because your girl want to go to sleep by 12:30 a.m. So let's make it quick. So this one is titled The Rapper and His Powder Puff. She put the nose emoji. It says, "Hi Symone, I'm going to get right into it because this experience was so insane. So backstory, I work as a backup singer for an artist that do festivals. So after a couple of years of doing this, I met this guy who said he was a manager of a certain rapper. He was known, but he had like literally one hit song a few summers ago, LOL. Either way, I agreed to work with this said manager. He wanted me to sing the hook on the song that his client, the rapper, had been working on. So I flew to Atlanta from LA on my own dime and got me an Airbnb. Fast forward my second day in Atlanta, I received a message from the manager to come to the recording studio on the south side. So I took a 40-minute Uber to this sketchy looking studio. Got there and was introduced to the rapper and his engineer. They let me hear the song and I thought it was giving wannabe Ja Rule and Ashanti via 2022 era. Nonetheless, I was getting paid, so I went in the booth and sang the chorus. After like the fourth take, I noticed 3 girls walk in the studio. At first, I didn't think anything of it because this is a recording session studio for a rapper. So of course, he's probably gonna have groupies around. Anyways, I finished recording the hook for the song, came out of the booth, and one of the girls was mugging me. Let's just call her Powder Puff. And you're gonna understand why real soon. So Powder Puff kept giving me this look like she had beef with me. Which is weird because I never met this girl before to give off static energy towards me. I was then told by the manager that we were going to order lunch and if I wanted anything. I told him that I wanted a salad and a ginger ale. That's when Powder Puff asked me out of the blue if I was too good to eat a burger. I was so caught off guard by the question, so I smiled and said no, I just want a damn salad. After that, I turned around and sat next to the engineer. And the whole time I could feel Powder Puff's eyes just piercing through my back. I eventually glanced over and this bitch is again mean mugging me while sitting on the rapper's lap. Fast forward, I'm talking to the engineer about who all he's worked with in the industry, that I didn't even see that Powder Puff left the room. And once again, I noticed that she was in the studio with us. In comes the manager with the takeout food for everyone. I decided to go to the restroom and wash my hands before I eat my food. The engineer told me the directions to the restroom, so I walked down this dark hall with no lights on and found the restroom door. Soon as I pushed that bad boy open, tell me why I see Powder Puff snorting you know what off the dirty restroom sink. I gagged in shock and she looked up at me. I quickly walked out and headed back to the studio room. Symone, I've seen that you know what before, but never seen someone actively putting it up their nostrils. Needless to say, I was gagged and wanted to just get my money and leave. So I mentioned to the manager that he hasn't sent me the payment for singing on the hook. As he's saying he will send it right now, in walks Powder Puff. She sits back on the rapper's lap and proceeds to make out with him. Maybe 20 seconds later, I hear a scream. And I turned around in my seat and saw that Powder Puff was on the floor. The rapper was standing over her and he looked pissed. He began yelling at her and saying that she had him effed up, blah, blah, blah. Symone, I'm sitting there confused as to what happened. That's when the blood got in the rapper's mouth, so he pushed her off of him and all hell broke loose. You got Powder Puff crying with a face full of blood, manager and Powder Puff homegirls yelling at the rapper. In the midst of all this commotion, I slowly got up and walked out. Yes, girl, I made a motherfucking beeline out that building and across the street to the gas station, requested me an Uber, and went the fuck back to my Airbnb and blocked the manager soon after. Up to maybe 3 months later, I was back in Atlanta to sing backup for Tank. After the show, we got invited to a club in Midtown and I'm vibing out. Next thing you know, I hear a familiar song playing in the club. It was a song I sang the hook for. However, when the chorus played, my voice wasn't on it. Some raspy sounding girl with obvious auto-tune vocals was singing in place of me. I didn't care because I got paid and could care less if the rapper replaced my vocals with another person. Side note, all these years later, I find out through some associates that the song was never officially released due to the rapper got dropped from his label. And get this, Symone, that raspy ass hot mess of an auto-tune girl was Powder Puff singing my part. Girl, it turns out that Powder Puff is an Instagram model who's an inspiring singer, and at the day I was at the studio, she was brought there by the rapper to record the song, which makes sense to why she was mean mugging me. It turns out the manager didn't, and then she stopped it right there. Girl, he didn't what? But I'm assuming that the manager didn't like tell them that he was bringing somebody. I guess they was just gonna see like who voice sounded better on the hook, because you know they be doing that in studios. Like they would give a song to a different person if they feel like, oh, we didn't really like you on this person, let's do like this or whatever the case may be. But that's crazy, girl, because I was about to ask you that too when you ran up out of there. Did you get paid? Because the way I would have been standing there like, before I leave about this studio, can you send me my money? But that's crazy, and congratulations, because it sounds like you be doing real big things, girl. I would love to hear you sing. But thank you so much for sharing. Let's get to the next story. Okay, so let's get to the next story. So this one is titled, Me and My Girlfriend Got Caught Doing the Do by Her Dad, and he asked to join. Okay. Anyway, so it says, sorry in advance if this is too long. Hey Symone, love you bad. You read some of my stories before, so I decided to write more juicy ones. So I was dating this girl because I'm gay and whatever, and my name is Aaliyah. This story happened in 2020. I hope I can say your name because you did not tell me not to. This story happened in 2020. I'm currently 24 now. I met this girl, we're gonna call her Rainbow. So me and Rainbow met through a mutual friend and we started having feelings for each other. And we seen each other a couple of times and we had dates. Then it's one night I'm at her house and we are in the bed chilling, taking shots, and I get drunk and started making out with her and stuff. And you know, we started doing the do. Nobody is home, just us, and her parents were supposed to be at an aunt's house till the next day. So we doing it and I hear a knock on the door. And I told Rainbow to stop because of what I heard, and she said, don't worry about it. It's probably just my dad and he probably forgot something. So I was trying to put my clothes on and she said no and kept doing it. And he just came in and saw us after he was yelling and whatever. Then all of a sudden he started taking off his shirt, trying to join in. I swung on Rainbow, hurried up and put my clothes on and ran out the door and left because that was crazy. And then I found out later that night that Rainbow and her dad had did the do after. I was heartbroken because I really liked Rainbow. Sorry if this is too long. I try to make it short. Let me know if you want any more story times with me and Rainbow. First, I'm going to say I am disgusted. Disgusted. I was going to say, like, maybe that wasn't Rainbow's dad. Like, have you ever met this man and, like, actually known that was her dad? Or maybe this was some man that she was living with and she knew what was going on. That's why she told y'all to keep going, because she knew she was going to have him, like, come in there. I don't know if this was his girl daddy. This is disgusting. That's all I'm going to say. That is crazy. Yeah, I would have swung on Rainbow too and hit her daddy up the head with something and got about that house. Because what you mean? That's very weird. Very, very freaking weird. Ugh. It had to have been some setup type stuff too, because for the parents both to have been gone and then mama still gone and the daddy come back and you on some weird, yeah, no. Okay, so this one is pretty long and it is titled, Best Friend Believed I Paid a Married Man to Date Me Part 1. Wait, is it a part 2 to this? Okay, this story was sent back in April, y'all. April. Let's get into it. So it says, hey Symone, let me start off by saying that you're one of the funniest YouTubers that I've came across. Thank you for being authentic, relatable, and encouraging. Thank you. My name is blank, but you could call me Lucy. And I do have a channel where I posted this story time with receipts, LOL. My channel is Lucia Creations. This story time is long and will need to be provided in different parts. I know you're not a fan of separate parts, but trust me when I say this story time need parts. No worries if this never makes it to Subbie Sunday though. I would be happy just by you reading it. All of us making it now, months later. And we're gonna go listen at the, because I don't see my email to part 2, but you said it's on your channel, so we're gonna listen to it there. But let's get into the part 1. Okay. This story time is about how my best friend from 6 to 7 years basically turned on me along with some other people I consider my friend. And they believe and spread rumors about me paying a married man to date me. This happened in 2023, by the way. I'm keeping the fake names I created from the story times that I posted on my channel. My ex-best friend of 6 to 7 years will be called Pick Me. Me and Pick Me went to the same high school. We got closer because we went to the same church. She was 1 year younger than me. I consider her like a little sister. So I would always pay for her things, forgave her for questionable choices, like keeping me in the dark about people who didn't like me and allowing me to be in their car, effing someone's boyfriend knowingly, and getting freaky with someone's fiance as well. Fast forward, Pick Me graduated from college and was struggling with job hunting. At this time, my guy friend was celebrating his birthday in Puerto Rico, and I asked if I could bring Pick Me as a +1. Mind you, he didn't know Pick Me at all, but was more than okay with it. So I invited Pick Me to Puerto Rico because I knew having something to look forward to would lift her spirits. Me and Pick Me would DoorDash during that time to save extra money, but I started sensing some shady behavior from my friend group regarding the trip. I told my roommate, Homie Hopper, about the trip, and she was questioning why she wasn't invited. I told her how I felt like the trip would lift Pick Me spirits, and that if the birthday boy wanted to invite her, he would have, since they knew each other and had each other on social media. Mind you, they don't really know each other like that either. When me and Pick Me are DoorDashing, she ends up telling me that Homie Hopper called her and was asking why she was DoorDashing so much. Pick Me tells her that it's for the trip, and Homie Hopper acts clueless as fuck. Even though I told her about the trip, Pick Me was aware that I told Homie Hopper about this trip, so she was confused as well. I noticed other weird things regarding the trip as well, but it is what it is, LOL. Me and Pick Me go to PR, and we have fun for the most part, but things get a little tense. This guy who we're gonna call Lawyer ends up liking Pick Me. However, I noticed a lot of toxic traits that Pick Me had. So she would flirt with men, lead them on, and claim that she doesn't want them and that they won't leave her alone, which is clearly not the case. She was doing this with Lawyer, and I was getting tired of her actions, not matching up with what she would tell me behind the scenes. I ended up telling Pick Me that I noticed this toxic habit where she entertains men and she claims that she doesn't want, and I don't want her doing that in this group. Y'all, this girl would literally twerk on Lawyer at the club, flirt back, etc. When I called her out about her mixed signals, I thought my delivery was good and she was fine. But while we were heading back from the club, she told me that I hurt her feelings. I apologized to her and I tell her that it wasn't my intentions. When we get inside the Airbnb, we have a heartfelt moment where I even wipe her makeup off. I thought everything was Gucci, but psych, I was about to understand just how weird this girl was. We come back from Puerto Rico and Pick Me decides to stay with me, especially because of an Afro event that was coming up. Pick Me lived in Kansas City, and at the time I lived in Wichita. She decided to stay with me for a bit at the house, and I shared with my 2 roommates. More shady things occurred during this time, but aren't too important to list. During this time, I met a guy named Delusional, who was also friends with the guy that Pick Me was seeing at the time named Sassy. Everything was going well with me and Delusional, which made Pick Me want to end things with Sassy because she told me that she was messing with Sassy for about a year and he never took her on a date, just to the bedroom. Meanwhile, Delusional was applying more pressure early on until one weird night. Mind you, I also peeped some weird things about Delusional, like how I would say I tell Pick Me everything and then question why Pick Me didn't like him, or how he got fixated on this guy I used to mess with. Me and Delusional usually talk every day and even fall asleep on the phone. One night it seemed like something was on his mind, but he wouldn't tell me what, and ended up getting off the phone. Tell me why I text this man the next day to check on him and he ghosted me. That weekend I went to the club with my fake friends, and when I see him at the club he acted like a weirdo and didn't really talk to me. It was also his birthday around this time and I brought him AirPods, which I ended up returning expeditiously because he ghosted me, so he never got them. Meanwhile, Pick Me started cozying up to our shady friends, which confuses me. Like, ho, is you cool? Didn't we agree that we're fake and you literally said they couldn't be trusted? Anyway, I ended up having a dream that I believe was a sign from God. Everything started to unfold how my dream went. Delusional comes over claiming his mom was in the hospital and that's why he was acting weird and ghosted me, laughing my ass off. This man was at a whole club and is now talking about how he couldn't communicate because his mama was in the hospital. I was naturally skeptical, but who am I to tell someone that they're lying about their mom being in the hospital? This man ends up leaving after our conversation and sends me a snap of a woman in the hospital, which I naturally assumed was his mom. I decided to give him another chance because I was at the state of my life where I was giving a little more grace to people. Let me just say, don't ever give people too much grace, especially at this big age. People will show you exactly who they are and you gotta believe it and keep it pushing. Me and Delusional ended things officially because he was just being a weirdo. At this time, I underestimated how big of a weirdo he really was. For information, this man was a UI UX designer, unless he lied about that too, lol. He had 2 phones, one was his personal and the other was his work. He also always wanted to talk on Snapchat instead of the regular text messages. Red motherfucking flag, I know. When things ended between us, my fake ass roommates confronted me despite knowing everything that was being said about me behind my back, lol. Anyway, since me and Pick Me were at a weird place, I reach out to her for a talk. But she shows up with a stank attitude, rolls her eyes, speaks over me, called my feelings dumb, and ends up pretty much storming out. The whole time she knew our friends were talking trash about me. I pretty much defended them while gaslighting me during our talk. The next day, I sent a few text messages because I thought maybe a conversation through text was better than the one in person. She ignores my messages but likes the other one about our friendships ending, so I assume it's over. And honestly, I was okay with it because I knew I deserved better. Come to find out, this girl had packed up her things and went back to Kansas City. I thought it was because of the conversation, but boy was I wrong, lol. There was so much more I didn't know. Looking back at it, I realized that my roommate Homie Hopper was enjoying how me and Pick Me was ending our friendship. As you can see, I was surrounded by some true weirdos. This was just part 1 of a wild ride. If you want more, let me know or check out my channel for the full scoop with receipts, lol. Thank you so much for reading this long ass story time, and remember, it's just part 1. I went through so much, y'all, oh my god, but I'm at a much better state in my life and want to remind whoever is listening that things will get better with time. You can always make new friends, meet someone new, and transform your life. And it says, okay, love you, Symone, bye. Okay, wait, sis, I'm so confused because I'm like, wait, I thought you was gonna tell me how they started the rumors about you and the married man, and I don't even know when or why you and Pick Me have fell out. You didn't even tell us. So we need an update on that. Like, what made y'all fall out? Because we don't know the update on that. And was Delusional the married man? Was he married? And the lady in the hospital, was that not his mom? Like, was that his wife or something? Like, who was this married man? Because I'm confused, sis. I really want to know what happened. But thank you so much for sharing. Okay guys, so this is gonna be the last but not least story. I don't know why the title sounds so familiar, like I read this story, or maybe I just read the title before, but it's titled Blacked Out at a Nicki Concert, Stranded Downtown at Midnight. So let's get into it. So it says, hey Side girl, what's poppin'? First off, I love your videos and you definitely the it girl to story times. I have a real long and juicy story for you, so let's get right into it. There's 3 characters in this story. We'll name my friend Fran, and the other characters will be named Ray and Trevor. So earlier in the year, Nicki Minaj was having one of her Pink Friday 2 concerts in my city. I purchased tickets to go maybe like a week before she came, and my friend had already gotten a ticket. We were planning on going together, but of course we wouldn't be seated together since we brought tickets at different times and for different sections. The day of the concert, I was able to convince Ray to also buy a ticket that was in our section right next. That was in a section right next to mine. We have floor seats, by the way. Ray was the guy I had met online that I had a friendly, flirty relationship with. We hadn't gotten around to hanging out in person just yet. Me and my friend decided that we were gonna pregame and drink at my place before heading to the concert. Keep in mind, I'm a fucking lightweight, and like real bad. We both took like 3 shots before leaving and then took the bottle of tequila with us. In the car, we drank more once we parked at the arena. I drive us there and we take another 2 to 3 shots before getting out the car. I immediately noticed that I had to pee, and I can't hold liquor in for shit, girl. So bad to the point where I couldn't hold it in long enough to have to wait in line to get through security and find a bathroom. I had my friend stand and block me while I pee somewhere random outside. It should have been my first time that I done fucked up with the liquor. To be honest, I don't remember standing in line or even getting inside the arena. I only remember me and my friend taking pics of each other outside and somehow teleporting inside. So we do, and I also offered to buy us both a drink. Don't ask me why I wanted more lick, because I don't know why either at this point, but the tequila was telling me what to do, and my punk ass just said okay. I got us drinks I don't even remember drinking. I took one sip, and then the drink pretty much disappeared. I see Ray at some point before finding my seat, and then take some pics of him, and then me and my friend split up to go to our sections. Once I get to my seat, I honestly can't remember much from this point forward. I just remember seeing Nicki when she first got on stage, and then I remember texting my phone like a madman throughout most of the concert. Now, who was I texting? Trevor. And who the hell is Trevor? This other nigga that I met online that I also had a flirty relationship with. Now, in my head, I thought I was texting Ray because I was saying things like, come over here, let's dance together, come sit by me, you look good. But the whole time I was texting Trevor, and for some reason he was going along with what I was saying. He would try to come to the arena and buy a ticket so that he could sit by me. I am weak. Now, back to the show. At one point when Nicki was doing a fit change, Ray said, let's go grab a drink, and I said, okay. I don't remember even going to get a drink. So if I got one or even drank it is beyond me. But I remember ending up in a walkway trying to record the concert, and the security saying I couldn't stand there and walking me back to my seat. What I finally came to was around the part of the show where Monica performs. And now anyone that knows how the concert went knows that Monica comes out near the end of the concert. But my drunk ass thought Monica was the opening act and Nicki would be out soon. So a few minutes later, Nicki comes back in, and in my head this is the beginning of the concert. So I'm getting my life for all of 10 minutes, and then she walks off the stage and I'm pissed. I'm like, I know this heifer didn't just didn't get on the stage for 10 minutes and then leave. I turned to the girls beside me who I had been talking to and dancing with throughout the show and said, damn, why's she leaving? She just came out. And I know she probably thought I was coked out because she just looked at me and walked away. Let me remind to the part of the show where I had to use the bathroom, so I left my seat to go. Next thing you know, I'm in the bathroom making out with some random guy. No, I can't even tell you what he looks like, to be honest. Like, I see him walking down the street, I wouldn't even know who he is. Sorry to that man. I ain't never doing nothing like this before, child. And in the middle of us making out, Ray walks in. Like, I can't even make this shit up. As soon as he saw us, he just walked right back out. I somehow convinced him that I knew the guy and that he was whispering, and that we was whispering something in each other's ear because we didn't want people in the bathroom to hear what we was talking about, and he believed it. A dummy, right? LOL. Okay, so back to the end of the show. My phone was dead and I couldn't remember the parking garage I parked in. I'm walking around and asking for a charger, and no one has one for some reason. So I'm still low-key drunk, and I'm walking around at midnight downtown by myself. I don't know where my car is or what to do. At some point, I make it to the parking garage that I thought was the one I parked in. But for some reason, instead of taking the elevator to the level I was on, I decided to walk up the ramps. But I didn't want to walk all the way up the ramps. So when I got to the point of the ramp that separated the levels, I would throw my merch bag over it. I would just jump over to get to the next level, just looking coked out for real, for real. I know, mind you, I wore these heavy-ass leather pants that I could could barely walk in. So the fact that I was able to jump over 4 different levels still surprised me to this day. I then somehow come across some guy that was security standing outside of a small building. I asked him for a charger, and thankfully he has one. He says I can't go inside, so I hand him my phone and he goes inside the room to charges it up for me, and then comes back outside. Remember, I'm drunk. So after 2 minutes go by, in my mind I'm like, wait, it's been like 45 minutes and this nigga ain't grabbed my phone yet. So I go inside to the room to check on my phone. It only had maybe like 5%, if that. But the security guys notice and gets mad at me and tells me that I gotta go. I could get him in trouble for being in there. All I remember is saying, man, fuck you, walking away. LOL, embarrassing. At some point a whole hour of the show ended. I finally found my car in a whole other parking garage. After doing more endless wandering downtown, I get to my car and my friends is in the passenger side, knocked out. I gave him my keys to hold on to when we were parked earlier so I wouldn't lose them. I finally get in my car and Trevor calls my phone, and I'm on the phone calling him Ray, still thinking that's who I'm talking to. I just tried to play it off. That was the friend I had in the car with me. I ended up making it home and Trevor came over and spent the night. So I pretty much got so drunk I missed the entire show, acted like a cokehead in front of Lord knows how many people. If you ask me, I think my friend laced it together. I ain't never showed my ass so bad off a few shots. LOL. Thank you for reading my story. I hope this made sense, because nothing made sense while it was happening. I love you, girl. I love you too, and I'm so happy this was the last story before I went to sleep, because you just had me weak. The whole time I'm over here reading this story, I'm picturing everything in my head, y'all. I picture everything in my head and you had me weak. This story is old that I got sent to me. Let me see when this was from, because I was like, let me go down. This is from March of this year. And I'm so happy that I scrolled down, like, and read this story, because you got me weak this whole story. Because I hate them drunk nights where you be like, what the fuck happened? It's the fact that you jumping over the parking garages. Please don't do that no more. I'm happy that you was okay though, wandering around, but like, that is crazy. That's crazy. And your friend had to be faded too to just be in the car knocked out like that. But Ray is a whole damn dummy, because how you walk in and see me kissing somebody and then gonna believe we whispering in each other ear? Ray, please. Anyway, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you everybody who shared. If you want to share your story, send it to Symonestorytimes@yahoo.com. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you on my next one. Peace out.